Hello, and welcome back to Radio NIGP, where the theme for the month is Aha Moments from our forum. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who got a chance to join us at Forum, it was great to see you. And what a great forum it was. On today's broadcast, you will hear different forum aha moments and interviews with award recipients. So stay tuned and thank you for spending time with us. Have a great day and enjoy the broadcast.
Hello, Radio NIGP fans. My name is Barb Johnson, and I am really honored to interview our now recognized Manager of the Year award selected person. And it is Erin DeVincent. And so now we're having our interview after the award ceremony has taken place, and we're very excited. Congratulations, Erin.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the time that we've got to spend together. I've just really enjoyed all of it.
So what I'd like to do in this interview is basically ask you to share anything with regard to having achieved this recognition by your peers and the family at NIGP.
To say that I'm surprised by all of this is an understatement. I mean, I said that a little bit during the finalist interview when the email came in that I had been nominated. I was blown away, was not expecting it. And when I undertook the application process, again, I had no idea what to expect. I was just kind of blown away at how comprehensive the entire thing was. And it was very eye-opening to have to document your individual achievements and your team achievements and your manager achievements. And all of that, I mean, sounds silly, but that came as a surprise to see it all on paper. I think that we all do what we do. A lot of it comes so natural, but when you actually sit down and you kind of chart it out, it can be surprising to see all of the things that you've accomplished and that your team has accomplished. And I'm so grateful for the nomination. I'm grateful for my mentor who really encouraged me to accept the nomination, and what a honor it was to be nominated in the first place. And I'm just grateful for everyone along this journey who has been there to provide guidance and support, and just because that right there is what compelled me to complete this process.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful because, you don't know what to expect except getting to hear it from someone who's been through the entire process, and then having been selected is exciting in itself. And you just get carried along by this ocean of support and love. And so was there anything about receiving the award that maybe was somewhat special, or something that you did?
Yeah, I had actually a few things that were really special. The first is that my coworker that I started with when I started at my organization almost 13 years ago was there with me. So she's been by my side since day one on the job, and she was at Forum. On top of that, my deputy procurement officer, who started 6 months after I started, was there with me. So awesome. I had two of the most instrumental people in my career at my side during Forum. I also had my parents join me. So they live in southwestern Michigan, and they made the drive down and sat there with me, and we held hands as they were going through the presentation. And when they announced the winner, the photos that my manager and my coworker took are just that of embracing with my parents and the joy and the shock and the excitement. And
I watched the list of the list of credentials and activities and things that you had done, and nobody necessarily does these things to receive an award. You did these things because you are a procurement professional who is assisting the city of Austin, which is, used to be at least, one of the fastest growing cities in America. Supporting the growth, the development, and the community. And oh, by the way, here's an award for doing that so well. Any advice for the practitioners in our profession about becoming this type of role model and receiving an award?
Put yourself in the uncomfortable situations. So I am not a person that tends to get out there. I don't light up a room. I don't network with everybody that I see. I prefer to be the observer in the background and just kind of, taking it all in and feeling things out. But there is something to be said about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and doing something for the better of the organization outside of whatever uncomfortable feelings that you have to work through. And Barb, I was sharing with you before this interview started that I actually had a Facebook memory that popped up that was 1 year to the day of receiving the award where I presented at Forum. And it was a picture of me standing next to the board of the session that I was on. And if I could have gone back or looked forward, I would not have thought Erin at Forum in Boston 2022 would be up for this award, let alone the possibility of even winning this award. So what I have to say is all of that is, it is within you. There are things that you are going to accomplish that you don't even have on your horizon or your radar. And so keep doing the work, keep showing up, keep, pushing to be a change agent and bringing all the wonderful ideas and the thoughts and the processes that come so naturally to us just every day. Just keep pushing those forward, and you will be shocked at the things that can happen. And in my instance, it was winning this award.
Absolutely wonderful. Erin, congratulations again. This is, although you're paying it forward and moving ahead and probably increasing responsibilities, this is part of your legacy. Your name, this award, will be listed on the NIGP individual award website forever. So being there myself, I can tell you that it's still okay. Look it up every once in a while. But I'm pleased as punch, very excited for you. And I know this really has been quite a journey. And you have inspired many who will introduce themselves to you in Charlotte. All right.
Thank you.
Well, bless you and congratulations.
Thank you.
I think my biggest aha moment was just realizing the scope of, I don't know how to put this into words exactly. So the amount of people that were there was amazing, and just the support within the procurement community, and just how I realized that all of us have such an underlying need to serve and to help. And to me, that was a really big aha moment, realizing that within the profession, we all share that commonality that we want to serve and we want to help. And to me, that felt very empowering and welcoming.
That's great. Yeah, it's it is you feel like you're among your people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Honest feeling that
Yes, and it was great, and just how friendly everybody was, and open to helping you, to mentor you and answer questions. And yeah, it was a very welcoming environment and a very impressive environment.
Excellent. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. I am newer to public procurement, so to come in and have that experience was amazing. It really stoked my passion, I guess, a bit more for procurement, because as with most of us, we kind of fell into procurement. We didn't go search it out. So while I found it very interesting to begin with, just being around my fellow colleagues on a national scale really fueled that passion even further. So I'm excited for this next year and to attend next year as well.
Yeah, I'd have to say my aha moments was to be surrounded by so many procurement professionals. It's been inspiring, to say the least. We have our small team, but when you get together with thousands, the amount of resource sharing, connections, and ideas is very interesting. That's been my aha moment. The shows had many different exceptional classes. David Nash teaching us on specification writing, great engagement in that workshop with other procurement professionals discussing my ideas, and then having constructive arguments about how they might approach something. Kirk Buffington's workshop on how case law affects procurements was very interesting, and I learned a lot. He was very helpful in defining that. I got to meet David Nash, who helped me get my certification at this show. His question of the day was awesome, and I was amazed at how responsive he was when I argued if I got a wrong answer, and that helped me get my certification. So it's been a great show.
Hi, my name is Tom Patterson. I'm with the City of Western Ohio, and my forum aha moments really stem from all the new and emerging technologies that are on display, allowing procurement professionals to write better solicitations, to better leverage cooperative contracts, and to expand their outreach. I'm really looking forward to getting back to the office and researching these technologies further, and even putting some of the free ones to use.
Hello, this is Charlie Rossell, Radio NIGP, and I am here with Tracy Garcia. She is our 2023 Procurement Specialist of the Year. Welcome to the club, Tracy. How do you feel after your big accomplishment?
I am very excited. I'm very humbled. I'm just ecstatic that all of the people around me who have been wonderful in helping me get to where I am today, I just thank all of you for everything that you've done. And I know that I had really strong competition, so I do want to thank Sylvia and Alicia for being part of this journey with me. We are all amazing women in procurement, and I'm so glad that we could all do this together, and you're in my thoughts, and we're all winners in my book.
I had a lot more fun at this event than I thought. When I told people, I said, "Oh, I'm going to a conference about government procurement." Most people's response was, "Oh, well, good luck. Oh, good luck to that." And I had a wonderful week with everyone, and I really enjoyed all of the lunches and dinners and social events that I had with people, and the interviews, and learning. The class sessions were so interesting, and I had a wonderful time at the forum. So I am working with a team of 5 MBA students in a class called Business Creation. As I said, I don't work in the public program. I don't work in the public procurement space, but 2 of my teammates are government contractors. And so they thought that this space was fertile ground for our research, and there were a lot of pain points. And so I did a lot of research on trade shows that I could go to interview people who work in this space for my assignment, because a big part of this assignment is doing primary research interviews with workers in this space. And that is what brought me to Forum. I was looking to connect with vendors who are selling to the government. I was looking to connect with individuals who work in the government, in the public procurement space. I was looking to connect with individuals who run companies that provide services that make public procurement easier for people. So that's what I was doing at the forum. I would say that prior to attending, procurement was something that was a very amorphous, distant concept to me. In the private sector, when we need to buy something, we just buy it. It's often not an incredibly complex process, and the rules for buying in the private sector often amount to you can do whatever you want to. And so coming to forum and seeing how specific a line of work this is, and the very specific laws that are in place to ensure transparency and accountability in the government procurement process to make sure that the money that taxpayers are spending is being used in an appropriate manner was very interesting to me. And I feel like I learned a ton about this space and what is very unique about it. And it's a very interesting space as someone coming in from the outside. There was a panel called That Was Then, This Is Now, Why Suppliers Are Still Choosing to No Bid. And I wrote down a few of the quotes from that panel because they were really interesting to me. The first was one that you had said, which is, you're not the expert in finding the solution, you're the expert in identifying the problem. And another really interesting quote too was from Stacey Adams, who said, the point of an RFP is not to give you the flexibility to choose who you think you want. And I think the big aha moment for me in the conference was realizing that I had thought about the issues that public procurement officials were dealing with in, I think, the opposite way that I needed to. As someone who's coming into this space with my entrepreneurial cap on, trying to think about what are products or services that an entrepreneur could introduce into this space to make life easier for people. For me, I was operating under the assumption that the best way to do that for procurement workers is to be able to narrow the pool of possibilities for them, to help them understand faster and earlier in the process what they want to buy and who they want to buy it from. And I think my aha moment was realizing that actually that needed to be the reverse, that actually what would benefit procurement workers were products and services that would expand the pool for them, that it would expand the number of vendors who would be responding to their RFPs so that they didn't get no bids or very few bids, so that RFPs could be written in a manner that would encourage more people to respond. And a lot about what you talked about, again, going back to that quote about you're not the expert in finding the solution, you're the expert in identifying the problem, really thinking about the ways in which someone interested in launching an entrepreneurial endeavor in this space would want to not help procurement officials find the solution too easy, too quickly, and right away. You'd want to do things that allowed them to really expand that pool of options. And so I think that is what, for me, the big aha moment, I think, at the conference was to me. With every single person that I met, for so many people, the first response to my introduction to them was, what can I do to help you? What can I do to help you with your assignment, to help teach you about this? There were so many people who were willing to sit down with me and speak with me about their experiences, connect me with other people, connect me with resources that I could use that would help me in my education. And so I have to say, as someone who attended the forum, I didn't know anyone there. I was attending by myself. I wasn't necessarily sure if I would fit in this space at all or be welcomed here. I mean, I had no idea. I found it to be a community that was just so welcoming to me and so kind and generous with their time. And I'm incredibly appreciative of that.
Hello and welcome to Radio NIGP. This is Mike Beavis, and I'm here today to talk about the Agency Advancement Award. And the Agency Advancement Award is an award that NIGP gives every year, recognizing agencies who have excelled at implementing a procurement-related program or process improvement within their organization. And there are several amazingly challenging criteria that agencies have to meet and forms they fill out and processes they go through to get this award. But the most important thing is that they do something that's significant for the profession, and that's significant for agencies to either emulate or look at as a potential benchmark or role model. And I'm lucky enough today to have David Wheeler from the Orange County Public Schools, which is this year's winner. And David, welcome. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Mike. It's great to be here. I always like to share, what we're doing to help others and, progress the profession. So I've been with Orange County Schools here in Orlando, Florida for about the last 14 years in procurement. Here in Orange County, we're the 8th largest school district in the nation. We have approximately 208,000 students, 24,000 employees, and over 210 schools and support facilities. So we have a lot of responsibility in the procurement office. So I started in our facilities contracting office doing construction, project negotiations, reviewing documentation for change orders. So I did that for about 4 years, and I moved out of that office into our office that handles everything not related to construction. So there I was able to work my way up from a buyer to a senior buyer to assistant director to director, and now the senior director. As the senior director, I'm responsible for our supplier diversity programs, all procurement functions, whether construction, non-construction, sourcing, in our materials management office. And under materials management, that's where our surplus office resides, mail and courier services, printing services, and records management. So, of course, I don't do all that on my own. I have a great team that supports each of those areas and executing our mission to support the students in our schools.
That's great, and thank you so much for being here with us today. So your program's about automating the procurement process. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that means?
Absolutely. So, I always am looking for a better way to do things. So, we started using Smartsheets, which is a web-based tool, really just to track our contract expirations. We used to use an Access database, and just wasn't really working for us. So we started exploring different tools, and we ended up and settled on Smartsheets. And we just, like I said, we just started tracking contract expirations using it. But within Smartsheets, there's a lot of additional functions that we started, playing with. We really let our imagination kind of be our limit. We started looking at every form that we required people to fill out, whether it was a P-card application, a vendor performance report, a vendor change form, if they needed to update their address, and we created electronic forms for that. So what it is, it's a form, they fill it out, and we have workflows built into some of those where it will require like supervisor approval for a procurement card application, or if it's a new request to do a solicitation or a contract, we have approvals built into that workflow, sequentially. So it may go to the department head and the executive cabinet member. So it's a lot more efficient than having just paper forms floating around everybody's offices. So it really helped us, especially in today's environment of remote and hybrid work, where we're not always all in the office, so we have it all electronic. So with our contracts, we're able to share reports with certain departments. As an example, our food and nutrition services department, they wanted a report with just their contracts. So the report feeds live from our database, so they don't have to sift through our around 1,200 active contracts just to find the handful of theirs. So that's done in a matter of a couple minutes, and like I mentioned, it automatically feeds that report from our database. So there's no manual export of Excel, email, things like that. So that's been a huge win for us. We're also real big on measuring KPIs, key performance indicators here. On areas that we can improve on, like solicitation cycle time. But we also like to track metrics that illustrate the value of the procurement department. one of these is like our savings that we achieve through competitive solicitations, contract negotiations, or other process efficiencies that we've implemented. So, our buyers, they enter, on their scorecard sheet, whether they're saving $5 on an order of pens or $50,000 on a computer order for our students. So all of that information automatically rolls up into our department scorecard, feeds to a dashboard that we share on, almost a monthly basis with our elected school board members. And, that's a means that we use to promote the value of the procurement department, to show, what we're doing here. We're not just processing orders, we're contributing to the value of the organization. So, one of the biggest improvements that we've been able to do with our workflows here is our contract renewal process. So, Smartsheet has an integration with DocuSign, and used to we would have to have somebody type up a letter, email it to the vendor, follow up if they didn't get it back to us in a timely manner. So with our DocuSign integration, our team, our buyer, our clerk, they just enter the date that we're going to renew that contract to. So if it's a 1-year renewal, they put, the dates, 1 year out, and it will automatically generate a DocuSign envelope holding the information that we already have in our contract database. So vendor name, contract number, and whatever else, whatever other information we have on our renewal. So, and the vendor, they get a reminder every 2 days if they haven't signed it. Once it's completed, it drops it back onto that item back in Smartsheet and notifies us that it's been completed and signed. So I like to use the illustration on our general contracting. We have about 18 contractors awarded that. So when we went to renewal, it takes probably about 5 minutes to type up each letter, and then if you multiply that, that's about an hour and a half of time just typing up letters to renew one contract. So now, like I said, you just enter the expiration date. For all 18, you can do it all at once, and it generates those 18 renewal letters in a matter of probably about 30 seconds. So for us, that's one of the biggest wins right there. That's actual savings of time, so we can work on more value-added work within our office, since we're all challenged to do more with less these days. So
absolutely.
So yeah, that's one of the biggest wins for us.
That's great, and it sounds like a great program. And there were so many things you talked about. I wish we had an hour to talk. We could talk about KPIs and about all those different issues you brought up. But it sounds like a great program. Is there any advice you'd give to somebody who's looking to automate their systems or do their processes?
Yeah, well, I always say we got to be open-minded and be willing to break the mold and be patient. I always like to understand, why do we do the things that we do? And a lot of times, I'm sure we've all experienced it. The only answer we can get is that's just the way we've always done it. So if that's the answer, chances are there's not a real good reason to do it. And in my opinion, that's something that is open to change. So, the reality is, once you implement, something new with technology, it's probably not going to go perfect on day one. I'll say a lot of the things that we've implemented, day one, it wasn't perfect. We've had to make tweaks, in the weeks that followed, no matter how much testing you have done. So, we're continually making, slight adjustments and making improvements. So be patient and, break the mold. And, one of the reasons ours has been so successful is the team that we have, and, they're all willing to embrace change. So being flexible has been definitely a key in our success in rolling these improvements out.
Great. Well, thank you, David. That's great advice. And I agree 100%. If you're automating a process, decide first if you even need it, right? And then move forward. And again, congratulations on the award. Congratulations to your team at Orange County and Orange County, Florida. I'll point out for everybody out there, not California, not some of the others, but Orange County, Florida. And again, thank you for being with us, and we appreciate you, all the work you've done and the example you've set for the rest of us to follow. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Kim, you're a first timer.
I am a first timer.
What do you think of Forum so far?
It's been great. There's so many vendors here. There's so many people. We've gotten a lot of good giveaways or takeaways. My favorite's probably the bucket or this really cool pin. And just meeting new people. It's great.
What about takeaways? You said you got to take some takeaways. What kind of what have you learned?
You mean
I thought you had some takeaways from the forum.
Takeaways from the forum. So I'm an admin. A lot of this doesn't apply directly to me, but I'm new to procurement in general. I started in April, so I'm hearing a lot of new information that at some point will be beneficial, I'm sure. But there's a lot of very intelligent people in the procurement world here, so it's nice to be around them, in the same room with them.
We're speaking today with Chanel Gale from the city of Naperville, Illinois. And Chanel, I'd kind of like to know if you could tell me a little bit about what has impressed you about Forum. What has been perhaps your aha moment since you've been here?
I feel like my aha moment was coming into this room at Exhibit Hall and seeing the diversity in the field. It's encouraging to see so many people from different states and walks of life, and I'm encouraged.
Sounds good. I know. I feel like
Well, that's a good thing to be.
Yeah.
So you're enjoying it so far?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
This is my first conference.
Well,
in person.
In person, okay. We're here with Dana today, and Dana, can you tell me some of your aha moments or one of your aha moments that you've experienced during the forum this year?
Okay, great question. I think when I listened to the panel discuss the co-ops, I just had a question in my mind about the capacity and the capabilities of a small business to absorb all of that extra work that would come about with someone just taking those terms and conditions and signing on. Also just thinking about the automation that could occur if that is what happens in the industry, if we're just adopting terms and conditions, not really being strategic, that could be done by AI. I kind of got my confidence back in the industry, just knowing that there is a focus on specification development and really trying to find the best services and products for our customers. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks a lot for asking.
This is Keith Glatz, and I'm here with Chris Payne and Rachel Kaplan from the North Carolina group. And folks, next year we're going to be visiting Charlotte, aren't we?
That's exciting news, and you're absolutely correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're planning for next year's forum?
Sure. So next year we'll be in Charlotte, and we'll be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for this chapter event. And that opportunity will afford our members to enjoy the 2.5-mile high-banked oval at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
This year.
So there'll be information coming out on the NIGP website soon, advertising some of the activities that we're going to have at the Speedway. You'll have an opportunity to drive NASCAR, do a ride-along experience, or take a trip around the track in a 15-passenger minivan. And we'll also have go-kart racing, high-performance kart racing.
That sounds fantastic. Well, folks, we're going to look forward to seeing you next year in Charlotte. And this is Keith Glatz reminding you that this is Radio NIGP.
Well, I guess my big aha moment was, I guess the single biggest impact that I took away was sitting in Carrie Mathis's class, extending your influence. It was a phrase that she talked about psychological safety within your staff and giving them, and the definition stuck with me, and it was the freedom to express ideas or concerns without fear of punishment or humiliation. And I have that in my current position right now. And I try to make sure that my staff has that. But I think at the national level, when you start to become active, there's a lot of that as well. People will listen to you with your ideas. But I don't think people understand and know what that's called. That, most of us have been in a position where we don't have that, and then in a position where we do have that, and you don't know what to call that difference. So I think that was probably the most profound concept that I took away from Forum, but another one was I think it was the first time that there had been a Bible study, a group gathering that Sunday morning before, and we filled all the seats. Every seat was full in that Bible study, and I think that was led by Mr. Victor Leamer and Ms. Stacy Adams, and they did an outstanding job leading and corralling that, and I hope to see that again going forward. But I would say those are my two big aha moments. Though one of the biggest benefits, other than the curriculum and the tracks that are provided, one thing would be the networking experience. You know, being able to sit there at a table and then talk about your problems and have a group of people who do the same thing, do the same profession, assist you in critically thinking to solve that issue. You cannot put a monetary value on that. And it happens every forum, and you can go away with new ideas, new concepts, and new solutions more than anything. And I think that I don't necessarily think it would be networking. I think it'd be more like a workshop, but those workshop type atmospheres are really, really helpful. There was a couple of I think they were just called networking session, large city, small city, medium city counties. Those where people can say, hey, I'm switching to a new fuel card vendor. Has anyone done this? And people are like, hey, I have. Let me tell you where our pitfalls were and where things we wish we would have done different. You know, so those are really, really helpful because you can just talk through those. You can meet up with the person after the class and be like, hey, this is what we did. Here's my card. And then another thing, if Kirk Buffington could have a 3-hour class every time that he gets to speak, so that he actually has time to get through all of his slides amidst all of the questions that he gets answered, that would be awesome, because his bond class was just outstanding. And his ability to talk about legal things from a procurement standpoint is just helpful. He's the one that I try to hit every time I see his name come up. And it was awesome to see him honored with the fellow this year. But the information that he passed on was really helpful.
Hello, everybody. This is Radio NIGP, and I'm Mike Beavis, and I'm here today with John Tigert, and John is getting ready to go to his first NIGP forum, and we're taking this moment to talk about what he expects. I've been 30 times now, and it'll be interesting to see the difference between my expectations and John's. But anyway, John, why don't you introduce yourself briefly, and then we'll start.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. My name is John Tigert. I'm the Assistant Purchasing Manager for the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia. So it's great to be here, and hello from the beach.
Great. Well, that's. I'm sure many of us wish we were at the beach. So let's get to the meat of the conversation. So this is your first time at Forum. What are you looking forward to most?
Well, I've never been to Forum, so I've heard a lot about it from other people, of course. And so I think, a couple of things that I've heard from various people, some people talk a lot about, oh, you're going to meet so many new people. And so I'm looking forward to that, just meeting other colleagues in the profession. And then I've heard other people talk about, you're going to learn a lot. And so I think that's the other thing I'm really looking forward to is not just meeting all of these great folks in the profession, but learning from them and networking, but then also the sessions. I'm learning from some of these, masters in our field, so to speak, in our procurement arts. So I think I'm excited about that and looking forward to that as well.
That's great. Yeah, one of the things I'll suggest you consider doing is when you collect business cards from people, write something on the back so you can remember who they are. Can't tell you how many stacks of business cards I have, and I think, should I have sent them something or were they something else? So
That's a good
take a
idea.
little note because you'll meet a lot of people, and it's hard for me at least to keep them straight.
Good deal. Okay.
Well, I look forward, and I understand you're going to be on Radio NIGP on one of the sessions towards the end of Forum, so that'll be great too. So I look forward to that conversation.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it too. I'm a huge fan of Radio NIGP, so I'm looking forward to meeting everybody on the panel and participating.
Your check is in the mail. We'll make sure you get taken care of. So thanks a lot, John, and it's great to have you on, and that's as far as we need to go. I think right now. I look forward to having you back on after Forum so we can talk about whether or not your hopes came true. So
okay, sounds good.
Thanks again, John, and for all of you out there, thanks for listening, and for Radio NIGP, goodbye for now.
Hello, NIGP friends. This is David Natch coming to you with a aha moment from NIGP Forum on Radio NIGP. And my guest today is Brooke Green, grants procurement analyst with Lee County Government in Southwest Florida. So Brooke, as a first-time attendee, what are some of your aha moments from this year's forum in Louisville?
I think my biggest aha moment was sitting in the plenary sessions and just feeling the energy of the room. And it's what I fell in love with procurement for because of the collaboration and the networking that takes place. And just being in that room and feeling the energy and the love that everybody has for this industry really is what made me fall in love with procurement. And it really made me want to come back. I have to say I felt energized and recharged after being in those sessions and walking away with just so much energy and passion to continue to do what I do.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's kind of what a lot of us feel about that. Do you have one particular moment, session that you attended that you really liked, or one of the plenary sessions that you really liked?
I think the one session that I attended at Forum that really stood out to me was the one about mental health and really taking into account, work-life balance and really thinking about that, because I think that, as they said in that session, we put that aside a lot and we just do and do and do, and it kind of catches up to you. And as a person that tends to just do, I'm now trying to take into account things that I need to have more balance in. And as much as I love my job and my profession, I also have to think about taking care of myself as well. So I really loved that session, and I just took a lot away from it.
Yeah, I sat in on that one as well. I think that is very important. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. I hope you get an opportunity to go to another forum. This was my 19th one that I went to, and I've enjoyed every one of them. So anyway, okay, folks, thanks for checking in with us today, and hope to see you again here in another episode on Radio NIGP.
As a first time attending the NIGP Forum conference, I was a little hesitant because I was going by myself and didn't know anybody, but right away people were so friendly and just would talk to you. You sit down at a table not knowing anybody, and everybody would ask where you were from, what agency you were working for. The NIGP Forum, there were people looking to connect as new timers, or anybody who wanted to get together for dinner, lunch. I even attended a ball game one evening and just met a great group of new friends and people to reach out to whenever I have a question. The biggest aha moment I had was one of the technology sessions by Brooke Smith, where she was talking about ChatGPT. This was, I was so energized by this because it's new, and wanted to embrace it because we can use this in our current everyday work and our personal lives to work smarter, not harder, and get things done with solicitations, doing market analysis and RFPs. I'm definitely looking forward to attending the next conference. And for anybody that's never been, you've got to try it. I found it so rewarding.
Hello, this is Stacy, and I'm here with a segment from the forum to discuss favorite moments, aha moments, our best moments from NIGP's forum. With me today, I have my friends, including Kristen, who is in the red shirt, and Faith, who is in the blue shirt. Faith joined us virtually. My friend Art, who is the gentleman of the group and who you cannot see, is the Clarissa Clark, who is having technical difficulties today. So I think I'm going to start with you, Kristen. What was your favorite aha, or what moment do you want to speak on from the forum?
So my aha moment, and I said this earlier when I was thinking about it, but it's going to be, I'm glad I made the registration so that I could have this reinforced moment of relationships with people I had met previously and hadn't had an opportunity to see since Boston or other forums, but also to be able to have new relationships built. So I was introduced to new procurement professionals, which was really important. And I know that each and every one of them are going to be resources. So I had the aha moment that a lot of the relationships that I built in attending forum, and this one was no different, is that they resulted in being resources, which made all of us more effective at what we need to do. So that was my aha moment, relationships.
So I love that, because I say it all the time that we're each other's resources, right? This year felt a little different for me. I said that earlier because it felt more like a family reunion this year. Did it feel like that to y'all, or no? Is it just me?
No, I would absolutely say.
You say yes, Clarissa?
It felt like that to me as well. And then, last year I had a little accident, right? And I had a lot of people coming up to me and checking on me. Hey, I'm glad to see you here again this year. And that meant a lot, that people were checking on me during the year and then glad to see me at the forum. So it was like a big reunion to me as well.
So it was, I guess that was like a big confirmation, considering you were thinking about not coming. So now you know you have to come.
That's true.
Right. So Faith, having seen it virtually, do you feel like your perspective may have been different, or did you find the same things that we're talking about so far?
I find the same things as far as it's so engaging. Sometimes when you watch a virtual conference, it's like you're outside, but the various what I really like were the skits that were performed in some of the presentations. They were so engaging, and it was so real life purchasing experiences. Art, the one where you were explaining all the codes and the different codes to the customer, I thought that was hilarious. There was another one where someone was trying to get a laptop from the group, and she needed the laptop the day before, and she couldn't really get the procurement person to understand what she's saying. She said, well, can you tell me what kind it is? And she said it was a DELL. And that's all. And sometimes our customers, that's all they know. We just need a laptop that fit in this size sleeve, and just to realize that it's not just happening in my purchasing world, but it's happening nationwide. I came from the state procurement side last year, but I worked with higher ed. This year, I'm with higher ed, and it was just so engaging just to still hear about the struggles. There are some opportunities, but there are obstacles as well. So being virtual or being in office. So it was just really engaging from the virtual standpoint as well. I find myself making sure I'm up early and ready for it. So, because sometimes you can, I'm home, I can relax, and I didn't want to miss it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a shout out to you, Stacy. Your presentation at the end of the day was great. But next time, keep me out of your
keep your name out of my mouth. Look, she's shooing somebody. All right, what say you? What big moment did you have?
Yeah, I'd have to say my aha moment, and it kind of translate from last year, and I would have to say one word, and that's impact. And impact comes in different forms and in different ways. last year, it was very impactful to stand on the side of the stage and listen to all the accomplishments that Clarissa has been able to achieve throughout her career, and then to be able to escort her up them steps as she received the Ella Pierce Award. And then it translates to this year, where I actually had the opportunity to meet Ella Pierce herself and listen to some of the questions that she had for me. And all the questions that she asked were about making sure that I remain impactful, that I remove hurdles, that I continue to present myself in a way that impacts others. And that then translated to my acceptance on stage at Forum and the impact that I had on people coming up and talking to me later throughout the rest of the conference, telling me what my story meant to them or what my journey meant to them. And so to feel Ella's presence, to be there with Clarissa, and then to see that not only do I get to meet these trailblazers, but that I actually belonged on that list, really had an impact on me. So for me, the word is impact. And if you can walk away knowing that not only can you look up to someone, but then you can continue what they have done, the whole see it, be it is starting to really reflect on me, that not only can I see who I am and what I have become, but I am now becoming that and allowing others to see themselves through me as well.
That's awesome. I think Miss Pierce probably impacted most of us who had the chance to actually be in her presence. What say you, Clarissa?
I say the same. And Art getting his award this year was just so important to me, and it was honored. I was honored as well just to be a part of that. And felt it a privilege just to even sit at his table, to be there with him, because he was there with me on last year. And then to meet Miss Ella Pierce herself. Now, knowing you have the Ella Pierce Award is one thing. Seeing her on the video when they gave her that, I mean, I teared up that time. But just to meet her in person, and one of the first things she was talking to us about was certifications and things like that. But that was impactful to me. Just to know that I am walking in the shoes or behind someone of that stature, you know what I mean? And that someone saw enough in me to have treaded the same path that she did, it meant a lot to me. So even though I got my award last year, it meant so much more to be able to take the picture with Art this year and with Ms. Ella Pierce. That was just aha moment for me this year.
There's something, it's funny, Faith, I don't know, Kristen, if you had a chance to meet her, but it was like to each of us, she gave a charge, right? Without really saying it, but it was like, okay, are you certified?
Yes.
And what are you doing?
That's right.
And so it was, it like Clarissa said, and I think Art said it as well, it was something about her that really just meant a lot to be able to sit in her space. And like, I think I put on Facebook that I was awestruck when I met her, because this is somebody who did what I'm doing long before I ever thought about doing it.
And I think something about receiving an award that's named after a person, and that person is there, that's very important. It's not, you didn't get a memorial award. You got an award and you got to stand next to that person, not a statue, but that person.
Yes.
That's very important. And I thought that was neat in itself. I was excited for it. I wasn't even there, because I'm looking at me. Led the way. So this is, while I may think that purchasing is new, I've been in it for about 20 years. And I'm thinking it's something new, and it's been going on a long time. We know that, but we've been there for a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Does anybody have any final words?
I think Forum was more powerful than I thought. I think after listening to these aha moments, the word I want to walk away with, Forum was powerful. I think there was more power behind it than I probably didn't sit in it. And I feel like I'm sitting in it now, just listening to you all's aha moments. So thank you, each of you, for sharing your aha moments. So
absolutely.
It is so great. I just think, God's willing, I think I'm going to make that long trip to Charlotte.
Next year?
Yes. It's gonna be a long ride.
So Faith, you guys got to watch the banquet, the awards banquet in the virtual space?
I didn't watch it. If we did, I missed it. The actual
Okay.
banquet, I
Okay.
didn't watch it.
I didn't know. No. It was broadcast because Greg was on there. Okay. So I don't know. Next year, for those of you all who may have a chance to look at it, that would be something. I mean, get yourself a lunch or something and have lunch with us. But any final words, Art, Faith, Clarissa? Well,
just thank you for this opportunity to really share what Forum meant to us, because I think that at times people forget to reflect on what could be a long week. So when you get back to going back to our office spaces, our homes, wherever we're at, and we kind of forget about what Forum meant to us. So to be able to keep it alive and keep it going and remember that impact and that power is really important.
it is. And y'all remember, we still have a little bit of time that we can revisit it with the video.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Take the time to do that. I've already started doing that. Some of the sessions I just couldn't get to because we had other sessions going on, because we had a lot of choices. We always do, but this year it was so many that I wanted to go into at the same time. So I'll have the opportunity to revisit some of them and just listen again. And some of the ones I even went to, I want to go back and listen to them again. They were just that good.
Absolutely. Well, Art, one last time, congratulations on your honor. I'm so proud. I am so proud.
Yes.
And your touching speech. I mean, I can't say enough about you or Greg or any of the other award winners, but you guys are special to me for this year. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And y'all, we'll see you in Charlotte.
Absolutely.
Hello, Radio NIGP fans. This is Barb Johnson on the way home from the 2023 NIGP Forum, stuck in traffic on our way north out of Louisville. But it's been a great trip, and I thought I'd use this opportunity to interview my colleague, Linda Allaire, and talk to Linda about her aha moment at Forum. So, Linda.
Yes, Barb.
Keep your eyes on the road, but tell me, girl, what was your aha moment at Forum?
Well, I think my aha moment is how much everyone in NIGP leverages their network. They have a question about something they haven't done before, or a question about what's a possible solution for a problem that they're experiencing or some difficulty. There's always somebody who can provide you some information, not necessarily the perfect solution, but some options to be able to figure out if that's going to work for your entity. And sometimes it's like this traffic, hurry up and wait. Sometimes everybody wants you to hurry up, but you have to wait to get your ducks in a row to make sure that whatever option you choose is going to be the optimum one for you to move forward.
That's excellent. And since I saw so many people engaging with you at Forum, does that also mean that folks turn to you for advice?
Well, sometimes, and a lot of those people were new. I met them in sessions, and we'd have a discussion in the session about something or other, and once the session let out, we'd have a discussion in the hallway about something that, we'd commented on or had come up in the discussion or the material that was being covered. And we'd have a little discussion about, what they were experiencing and what have I done in my career. And it's just one of those things that happen when you've been around a long time.
And done good things. Thank you, Linda. Have a safe trip, because I'm your passenger. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, this is Tara Acton with Radio NIGP, and I am here today talking with Ryan and Brittany from Omnia Partners. They represent a national cooperative, and they were able to participate in the 2023 forum in Louisville. And I just wanted to get your thoughts as a supplier to public procurement, what your experience with forum was. As a starting point, I'd like to ask you guys your experience in the expo and how NIGP executes that.
So, for my perspective as a supplier for NIGP, I think that the expectations were extremely met. I think that there was great turnout at the expo. It was also really cool to see that the agencies kind of intermingled. So being a regional manager and only going to visit one agency at a time, case by case basis, it's really cool to see that each agency, whether it be a city, whether it be a county, whether it be a school district even, they intermingle and they all talk. So from my perspective, I thought that was really awesome to see that. Ryan, I don't know if you want to share your thoughts.
Yeah, just to add a little bit to what Brittany said. First, the layout was spectacular, I thought, with the vendors, cooperatives, etc. But as Brittany mentioned, I think it's great to see different procurement professionals from different agencies interact, but also from different states. You know, you'd have folks from Colorado, you'd have folks from Missouri, Illinois, Florida, and every state, as we all know in the procurement world, can be different, right? There can be a little bit different statutes. So to see them all together in a booth talking to suppliers, kind of brainstorming, I think we all know procurement has changed the last few years. To see how different agencies are now, you know, working with their teams, leveraging other contracts. It was just very fascinating, especially at a vendor standpoint, cooperative, to see how these agencies are doing business.
Okay. I appreciate that. And, you know, one of the things that we were talking about was the agencies participating in the expo. So I'm going to punt a question to one of you is, I know that this is something NIGP works on to get as many agencies in the expo hall as possible. Do you feel like you guys had good interaction with the various agencies this year?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of my agencies, even at Boston last year, a lot of my agencies were there, and it was good to see not just the Arizona agencies in Arizona. It was good to see them in Louisville too, and see their participation and how much it means to them of us being a supplier and sponsoring and being interactive in those types of events. So I think from a supplier standpoint, I had great interaction with my agencies, as I always do. But it was great to see them and get to know them more outside of just like the workspace and being in the office.
Yeah, and just to add, you know, I think post-COVID, numbers have just only increased, right? And, you know, I think, you know, more states obviously had folks that showed up than others. But even some of my agencies that did not attend have already reached out to me asking, you know, how was NIGP? You know, we try to do it virtual. Obviously, it's not the same as in person. So I think the numbers are only going to increase. I think the supplier partners that we had talked with, just the numbers they said that, you know, they were proud of and participation. So I think overall it was fantastic. I couldn't attend last year in Boston, so I can't compare it. But from talking to other agencies, it just sounds like the numbers are up and rising going forward.
And I also even heard really great feedback about the virtual attendance. Like a lot of my agencies had reached out and they were like, oh, I was surprised to see you introducing somebody up there for a session. But I attended virtually and it was such a great session. And, you know, it was good to see that feedback of them just sending me a random email saying like, it was cool to see,
Yeah.
you know?
You're like helping me pivot. I was going to shift to sort of the next question, both with what you're saying and what Ryan was saying, is engaging with suppliers from a procurement professional. I don't think that we're keeping suppliers at arm's length as much anymore. I think that we're more willing to reach out to you for market understanding and to really see you as a partner. And one of the things that's become more common at Forum is having vendors in the room in sessions. And so did either of you get to attend sessions? Brittany, I know that you got to attend and got to introduce one, but I'm kind of curious your thoughts on sessions that you attended, if you were able to attend sessions, and maybe what the value is as a supplier to attend those sessions.
Ryan, you want to start?
Yeah, so I was able to attend one, and I think, and you kind of hit it on the head here, is it's so neat to see suppliers interacting with agencies, right? You're sitting with folks that you work with, and the session that I attended, was Let's Get Together Modern E-Procurement, I believe is what it was called. was just really neat because it was more of a there was a lot of facts and information going on as opposed to just a sales pitch, right? I think we've all sat in sessions before where it's, buy our product, this is why, this is why, this is why. It was so just relieving to sit in something that was more facts and information and lots of great questions between agencies and suppliers. So very, very neat to see when you look around and you see a lot of agencies across the country, but then you see a lot of our vendor partners as well. So, like I said, great feedback from the session that I was able to attend.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I also noticed there were some of our supplier partners in the session that I attended as well. So that was great to see. And then also learning about like y'all's pain points. Like for us attending that, like we don't do your job, right? So just learning about your pain points and what hurdles you have to get over, it helps us better relay information to you all. That instead of just like assuming we know what you need. Right. So I think that was really great for us to be able to attend those sessions too.
Awesome. Well, before I wrap it up, do you guys have any parting thoughts or?
Ryan always has parting thoughts.
No, I thought it was fantastic. Like I said, I can't say that enough. I just think, talking with our agencies afterwards, I cover about 7 states. So I had lots of individuals there. Just the interaction. I think, I've been to trade shows before where it's, very salesy. This was just such an open, I guess, just letting folks come into your booth. I thought the suppliers did a fantastic job. Just think overall the NIGP hosted a fantastic event. And I guess we're looking forward to 2024.
Awesome. I didn't even ask for a plug for 24.
Yeah. And I will say the 4 hours that the trade show went on, it didn't even seem like it was 4 hours. It was like there was so much interaction and there was so much traffic to our booth and stuff. It was excellent.
Awesome. Well, with that, I'll say thank you for tuning into Radio NIGP. Thank you guys both for making some time to talk with us today, and we'll see you next time.
I'm Kara Carroll from OC Waste and Recycling in California, and my aha moment during the conference is great ideas out there, and really nothing is impossible.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Mike Beavis with Radio NIGP, and I'm here sometime later with John Tigert, who talked to us before about what he was expecting from Forum. Forum has happened, so we're going to talk a little bit about whether it was what he expected and if he had any aha moments. So, John, let's not worry about introductions. They got those from our recording a while back. So how was Forum? I see you got back okay.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was, I think, everything I thought would be and more. I've been to local conferences before, and this one was just something special for sure. So I'm hoping I get to go back next year and many years after that for sure.
That's great. I know I saw you at some of the social events and at a few of the sessions, and we shared a stage on the last day in the morning. But since we didn't talk that much about it when we were there, did you have any aha moments? Any things that happened that you remembered and maybe brought back to implement?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I was looking forward to when I went to Forum was attending all these sessions with all of these, kind of giants in the public procurement field, and just trying to learn as much as I could from them. And, definitely there were several sessions, but, a couple, your session on spend analysis was amazing, right? So I learned a lot of things from that I think I can bring back to my agency and hopefully implement some best practice there. I think another thing that was kind of an aha for me was Sean Carroll's session on the power of blank space.
Yep.
And just really made me think pretty deeply about how I manage my workflow at my agency on a daily basis. So that's something that even I'm hoping to share with my team, the supervisors that are on my team as well, because I think that was a really powerful way to look at that. So.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment, and to be in the same conversation with Sean is yet another compliment. So I know Sean's session was amazing too. So that's great. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad you're looking forward to Charlotte next year. I know I am, and hope I'll see you there.
Me too.
And if we don't have anything else to add, I think that's a great few minutes. And thank you, John, and thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time on Radio NIGP.
I wanted to have a little chat about our impressions of the NIGP radio spots. Excuse me. The Radio NIGP broadcasts, the live broadcasts at Forum, which we so gratefully thank Fred and Carrie and Rick and Kathy for not only our pop-up, but our presence. And for me, I was just thrilled, other than 7:40 a.m. To be there. So do you want to do this as round robin, or do you want to do this as just speak up? Round robin. Okay. I got a yes from Christy. So Mr. Buffum, you're alphabetically first. What did you think of our presence? What do you think what do you think?
I thought it went well. I was there each morning and watched all of them, and then of course was a participant in one of them. I thought the presentations were good. The topics were spot on, and I think our timing was really, really good. In most cases, we didn't go too long. We didn't have to shut anybody off. We didn't have to stretch stuff too much. So I thought it went well.
I think a lot of what Don said, I was happy to see the number of people that were listening and paying attention. It wasn't like they came and they were just having breakfast and talking to each other. They were actually listening to the show. And quite honestly, me being there at 7:40 in the morning was a stretch. So, but I think it was great. I really liked the topics, and I appreciate how much NIGP helped us make sure that it flowed well with what was coming, and even the transitions. It didn't look like it was an afterthought. It really did look like it was a planned part of Forum. And I think that goes a long way for us getting our name and our brand recognized.
So I concur with Don and Tara on their comments so far. One thing that was interesting, I actually had a virtual attendee message me after to ask about, how do I get involved? And so I thought that was kind of cool that, well, clearly the virtual audience is paying attention to this too. And it created an opportunity for connection for them, even though they weren't there in the room. And I was pleasantly surprised with how engaged people were. Like, they stopped talking and they paid attention to what was going on. So that was it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, kudos to NIGP. They really helped us out, got worked us into the schedule, got us on the app, which was awesome. All I heard was all positive things, nothing negative from people that were in attendance. I think a lot of them at the very first day, they're like, oh, I didn't realize Radio NIGP was going to be there. So all good.
All right, Keith Glatz, thank you for your forgiveness since I can't spell. Your team did an awesome job too. I meant to tell Valerie also. So your team looks very polished, I must say.
And I'll have to say, especially to Don, who, when we were running short, came up with a good save to extend it out a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that you didn't have any dead air. That was awesome.
No, well, we can figure these things out after a while, I think. But
John,
if we do it again, and I'm adding this on top of all the positive stuff, which I totally agree, I still think we could do an even better job. There were moments. I hope you don't mind me. So I'm just being honest, right? It's not just
right. You're being John. We love that.
Well, really, I thought I mean, I got to emphasize again, there was so much positive. It was really cool. I'm very proud of how he pulled it off. Having said that, there were clunky moments. It would help to have in more practice. There was some of the stuff that I heard was kind of like sort of preaching at people. In not really preaching, that's the wrong word, like conclusory statements. This is important. Well, yeah, everybody knows it's important. They want to hear from us, more relaxed conversation about how we found out it was important and how we implement something. They don't need just conclusory statements. And there were some of those sprinkled in throughout. So I don't know if we have access to the video. I don't know if they save it, but one of the
it's in the virtual platform.
Oh, great! Because
So you have 25
days.
And one of the best ways to do a self-assessment is to watch it again and be your own worst critic. So if we're going to do it again, I think I might recommend that we do that and just say, how could we make this better?
Very good. Very good. Kevin Yin, who made a dramatic entrance.
I know. That's my favorite part was Kevin's smooth entrance.
He was smooth.
Yeah.
If only you'd done the summer or the little somersault like the Chola did the first day.
That was amazing.
Oh, I overslept. Oh my goodness. I thought it was I thought we had a great conversation. Our team just kind of I think we fed off each other, and so I thought we did a great job.
In the chat said Christy indicated that in several of her later sessions, people brought up the like we heard on Radio NIGP this morning. That's exciting. So they were referring to what was in the broadcast, which is good. Tara, you're on mute.
I figured it out.
But you look good.
I look better when I'm not talking.
That's not what I
Charlie,
meant.
you're not supposed to agree. I was going to say one of the things we can do if we're going to stay like to the left of the stage or the right of the stage, now that we know the format, we could have some people from Radio NIGP out greeting people and saying, welcome, enjoy your breakfast. We're doing a Radio NIGP broadcast right now. Sit wherever you want. It's on the big screen. If you'd like to sit closer to the stage, we're over to the left.
The other thing I forgot to mention before, when in my two presentations, I talk about Radio NIGP at the beginning, and the first class I had maybe 75, 80 people in there. Maybe a third of them had seen an episode. And then when I did my workshop, I had 100 people, and about half of them had their hand up. So I was excited by that they had seen an episode.
That is wonderful. What was your impression of our broadcast? What would you like to share?
Okay, here's my first impression. Am I late? That was Kevin. Was that good?
Okay. Oh, yes, it was dramatic.
Not impersonation, Victor. Impression.
Oh, impression. Okay. I look at things for areas of improvement, but I just have thankfulness to NIGP about making this happen. The stage, the banner. Again, we go back to my opening comments when we shared this with Rick and Fred, and their comment was, "What can we do for you?" Look where we're at. 3 years later, we're on the little stage, and I'm thrilled. I am so proud of this team and everyone's presentation on the stage. What I was really impressed by, because I wasn't able to observe when I was on the stage, but for the other 3 sessions, how quiet the room got. There were no conversations, nobody trying to out-chat each other, and it was just really attentive listening. And then the audience saying, Radio NIGP just got louder each time. It was like not a cult following, but they were members of our club and they were just participating, like the Mickey Mouse Club, where we're all singing along. We need to come up with a theme song next. RADIONIGP. Radio NIGP.
And remember, this is Radio NIGP.